What's up, everybody? It's Dave Nielsen with the Momentum Real Estate Advisors of Keller Williams Realty. I am joined today by
Soave Crum from Gentry Moving and Storage.
Woof. All right, hey guys. So what are we doing, right? I'm introducing all of you fine folks to all my partners. Christine is one of my moving partners who I recommend wholeheartedly to anybody who's going to move, which if you're doing business with me is probably you, because I'm selling or buying a house for you. So this is somebody that you want to know if you know me. So Christine, let's start with, how did you get into the business of moving?
Okay, well, Gentry Moving and Storage, we are in our 20th year, which is very amazing to me. 20 years. It's gone by quite quickly. My partner and I had decided that we wanted to start a business, and my partner was well versed in the moving world. At the time, I was a teacher, and I thought to myself, okay, if this is what we have decided we're going to do, let's give it a whirl. And we began very humbly. We had the business and one truck. And over time, with a lot of hard work, faith, and excitement, we grew this business to be the size that it is today.
Absolutely. So 20 years, you went from one truck. How many trucks do you have now?
So I currently have 7 trucks.
Okay.
I am located in Cranston. We have a 25,000 square foot building.
Heyo.
Where we have I call it our world headquarters. And we do all our operations from there. You can come on and visit us. We have all of our admin offices. We have all of our storage there. That's where we house the trucks, the materials, and that's kind of the spot where everything happens.
I love that you call it the world.
It's my world headquarters.
It's very, very ambitious.
Absolutely.
So speaking of the world, I mean, how many states do you go to? Are you like transatlantic? You drive a truck across the ocean? Are you like across like coast to coast? Yeah.
Not yet. We have not invested in the helicopter or the plane yet.
That's next.
That's next. It's coming. It's coming. We are found in Rhode Island, Mass, and Connecticut daily. Mm-hmm. So you can find us in the tri-state area daily. We also do long haul, which means we go from Maine to Florida. We can also take you mid-country. So if you took a line and you went straight down the middle of the map, kind of through Chicago to the eastern side of the Mississippi, Perfect. We can take you there as well.
So what you're saying is there are people who actually leave Rhode Island. I only know people who stay here.
Well, I will tell you, it's been a trend, I'd say, over the past 10 years, that we do have quite a few people that are choosing to leave. Hot spots for us anyway that we're finding that we're taking people is the Carolinas, Tennessee, Florida. Those seem to be spaces that Rhode Islanders are leaving to go to.
Got it. So I'm gonna share a story of how we first started talking, and then I'm gonna ask you to talk about kind of how you're like next level above and beyond kind of thing.
You got it.
So I always tell people this story. This was the worst day of my real estate career. Was June 15th, 2020. As if 2020 wasn't full of other crappy days. This crappy day fell right in the middle of this. I had a good friend of mine who was moving from Pawtucket to Burrillville.
Correct.
We had gone through their walkthrough on the house they were purchasing in Burrillville. It is, I don't know, like 8:27 in the morning. I get in my car, and by 8:28, my buyer is screaming in the driveway of the house. And like, honestly, like to the point I was like, she just got a phone call. Like somebody died. Like there's no other thing that could have happened, right? So I get out. I'm like, what happened? What happened? Her moving company had canceled on her at 8:28. On closing day. Yeah. So then I was like, oh my God, what do I do? I had no idea what we were supposed to do. I said, let me make some calls, figure it out. We didn't know each other at this point. We're connected on Facebook.
Correct.
Which that was the extent of it. I said, Christine Soave Crum is the only name I know. So I'm like, I called you. First of all, you answered the phone, which is kind of a big thing. I want people to answer the phone, which you did. And you didn't have a truck available that day. But I'll tell you what, we probably talked 5 or 6 times throughout the day. We were like, Dave, did you get anybody? What else can I do? You were like actively seeking me out, trying to help solve this massive problem, which by the way, I solved by moving them myself, which I know you do. Sucks.
Yeah.
That is tough.
It's tough.
It's tough. But that's the kind of thing that said, hey, this is somebody I kind of want to be in business with,
Thank you.
Going forward. So now with my long preamble, the setup for you is, what other things do you do that you would consider like an above and beyond kind of thing that other moving companies maybe aren't doing?
You got it. So I think we are big enough that we can I can help a lot of customers on any given day, but also small enough where I can actually give it that personal touch. For example, I am the owner. If you need me, you can get me most days. If you can't get me, a message will be taken and I will try my very best to get to you.
Of course.
Oftentimes, when clients want to speak to an owner, they're looking for me. Oftentimes, it's either tell me something went wrong, something went wonderful.
They don't call you to compliment you all the time. Yeah.
Well, sometimes, or they're needing me to help them in some capacity.
Sure.
And I do take a lot of pride in the fact that even if I can't help you, I will work really hard to try and connect you with someone who can.
Excellent.
The moving process can be difficult. The idea that clients get called upon, the client loses their mover on the day of the move, unfortunately can be quite common, especially when it's the busy season for a multitude of reasons. Something as simple as the driver is ill.
Happens.
And now there's no one to drive that truck. To as big as, unfortunately, this is done in the industry where they overbook by one move each day because people do cancel. And if you happen to be that overbooked move, sometimes you lose out. That isn't something that we do. I book for as many trucks as I have. I do not overbook.
Right.
And in the case of being able to help above and beyond, I feel very strongly that, we're only as good as our word. So if we tell you that we've got a truck for you, barring something crazy happening, we'll be there. Because I have a great employee retention. So the men that are on the job with me have been with me some up to 13 years. And they know what's expected of them, and I know what's expected of them. It's a flawless thing where the men are going to arrive and they know that they are the representation of my business, and the way that they conduct themselves and how well they get that job done is very reflective of who we are as a business. And again, and the same thing goes too. If we're promising you something, we're going to do our very best to make that happen. And I feel really strongly about that.
Yeah. I'm going to give you one answer to how you go above and beyond. The day that we're filming this, I don't even know what today is. Whatever date it is, it's actually 2 weeks after we were supposed to do it.
Yeah.
The reason we didn't do it 2 weeks ago was because one of your guys had gotten sick, and you're like, Dave, I have to personally move people.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And so it's not an often thing that you get Christine Crum on the trucks.
So I
But
shouldn't be promising that.
don't promise it. But in this particular day, the gentleman was ill. He came into work. He went on a job. And he was physically ill, and of course nobody wants that.
Of course.
So he came back. I had to switch drivers, and it was a small move. It was a small move, a senior move. And I looked at my other driver and I said, "Well, you get me today." And I have to tell you, he was not tickled pink about that, and he did not realize.
You don't want to work with the boss?
No, and he did. I don't think he felt that I was going to pull my weight, and I will tell you, we did. And when we were done, I did get some kudos from all the gentlemen. They're like, "You went on the truck? You did the move today?"
Hell yeah, I did.
I said, "Absolutely."
Right.
Because I was not going to call that client and tell her that we were not going to be able to help her.
Right.
There had been a death in the family. This particular client needed her father's belongings moved out of an assisted living. They were emotional, and me calling them up and saying, "I'm sorry, I can't come," was not going to happen.
Of course.
So, and luckily, here we are, a few weeks later. She just called me yesterday and booked me to do a large move.
Did she really?
Into her new home in Narragansett.
Wait, you provided great service, you were available, and then it led to more business.
And it led to more business.
I can't believe that's how that works.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's amazing. So, what else did I want to ask you? So, I wasn't going to ask you this. You gave me permission before we started talking.
Yes.
But you referenced a couple times, hey, you got the men who work for you, and they had, boss was on site.
Yes.
We talked about being a female business owner in a field that is predominantly occupied by men. So tell me something about that.
So the moving world is an interesting one, no matter what your sexual orientation is, but it is predominantly a male-dominated industry. There's a lot of people that own moving companies who started out as owner-operators, meaning that you will see the owner on the truck on the move.
Sure.
I have never had that opportunity to be, but I am definitely the person who is behind the scenes, who is helping structure the business, making sure that the business is running properly, and doing the marketing. So when I do attend events with the industry, oftentimes a walkthrough for a commercial, because we do commercial work, it's usually all these lovely gentlemen owners, and then in comes the girl.
The girl.
The girl.
You need quotes for that?
The girl from Gentry Moving and Storage, and I'll sit down and you watch everybody kind of look around, and they don't know what to expect from me.
Right. Yeah. No.
Which
Yeah.
which I have to tell you works sometimes in my favor.
Sure.
I can kind of keep that feminine. We don't know what to expect her in my back pocket. But it's definitely an industry where you have to be strong. You have to be able to hold your own. My convictions have to be strong because they will look at me thinking that I'm not capable of holding my own in that world. And I will tell you that I feel I've proven myself on many occasions. And at the end of the day, I have to tell you, I am kind of proud to be a female owner. I am.
That's great. Yeah.
You know, it's been an adventure, but it's been a pretty satisfying one.
Very good. Yeah, I'm glad. I wish in 2024 we didn't have to worry about such obstacles, but I'm glad that with determination and service that you can overcome that. And
Absolutely.
Now you're not just like, hey, I'm here, I'm playing. Like, no, I'm on the scene. It's my scene even.
Yep. And I will say this as a caveat. I always feel very compelled to share this. You're only as good as your team.
Right. I'd agree.
So I couldn't be the fearless leader all I want, but I also need to know that when I go back home to my world headquarters, when I get back there, that the people that are around me are invested in the business as well.
Awesome.
And they're an extension of me, right down from the people that answer the phone to my admin, right down to the men that come to your home. You know, that's always part of our conversations. We call it the Gentry way. You know, I want to make sure that all around we're being represented in a positive light.
Excellent. So, Christine, if I'm about to move, I'm going to sell my house or buy my house, and I need a moving company, how do I get a hold of you?
So you would give us a call at Gentry. That call would come through. One of a few different move managers would answer. Because I am female owned, I am a little bit of a stickler. I do have females that are answering the phone.
Sure.
I just feel that overall, oftentimes when people are calling, it's not always the first time home buyer who's super excited and can't wait to get that booked, right?
For some people, it's not pleasant. Yeah.
No, for some people, it's not pleasant. For some people, there's been a divorce. There's been a death of a loved one.
Right.
They've inherited a property that's full of stuff. They don't know what to do with it. Sometimes it's tough. So I feel like having the female voice or the female touch with the clients is very helpful. And it's worked for me.
Okay.
Once you call, we're going to ask you a series of questions. It off-puts people sometimes if they're just looking for a price.
Right.
It's kind of hard for us just to give you a price. I can give you an hourly amount.
Yeah.
But I can't really give you a price unless we dig in a little bit of nitty-gritty. So you can expect to be asked, where do you currently reside? Where are you planning on going? How many bedrooms is your home? Let's talk about what's in the house.
Yeah, a lot of factors.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. We get a little crazy, according to some people. But I want to start with your bedroom, master bedroom. What are we taking? And then we're going to move from room to room to room. Once I have a full picture, I know, am I sending you 2 men in a 26-foot truck? Am I sending you 3 men in a 26-foot truck? Do I need to send 4 men in 2 trucks?
Right.
So there is an equation of sorts that relies very heavily upon what it is that you're moving. And once we get that handled, then we can give sort of like an overview of what pricing will look like.
Yep.
If the client wants a specific price and people like to have a locked-in estimate, we can send an estimator.
Okay.
So I do have an estimator on staff who will go to the client's homes. They'll do a walkthrough and essentially do very similar to what I did, only he's going to physically see. Come back to the office within about 48 hours, you'll get an estimated price. So what's the difference between the two? If you want an hourly price, it's a 4-hour minimum, and then after that, it's just whatever time is used.
Sure.
So if it takes us 6 hours, you only pay for 6. Some people say to me, well, what's the advantage to the estimate? If you have a really large house, having the estimate will narrow it down a bit more.
Yeah.
So it's not as open-ended, and that locks us in. So that way, if you have a budget, you know, okay, this move is going to cost $2,800, whether it takes them the 8 hours that's promised or 12.
Yeah.
We're not going to change that price for you.
Just lock it in.
It's locked in, and it often works budget-wise for families because they know what to expect on that day.
As long as people know what to expect, I find that everything usually goes fine. I'd say all the time, I don't like surprises. I don't like them in my personal life. And I certainly don't like them in my professional life.
Yep, true.
So, can I poke fun at you for a little bit?
Sure.
The question I asked was, how do I find you?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The question I meant was, what's your phone number?
Oh.
That's how I call you.
I'm sorry. My phone number is, you can give us a call at 401-233-2786 and option 1. That will take you right to us at Gentry.
Excellent.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant like, hey.
No, hey, listen, as I like to do, I got more than I bargained for. That's how it goes in real estate.
There you go. Didn't know. But that's my phone number.
Perfect.
Call us anytime.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey guys, if you're buying or selling, give Christine a buzz. There's a lot of stuff that you need to know, and we've been filming for about 15 minutes. We were talking for about 15, 20 before that. There's a lot more than even somebody in the industry, knew to think about. So there's plenty in this brain right over here. So give her a call anytime. If you need to call me, you certainly can. I'm best reached at my text line, 401-205-3456. Because I talk fast, I'm going to say it again, 401-205-3456.
Thank you.